Hi guys, welcome to Warwickshire Outdoors. I've got my brother Simon with me today. We're back at the Woodland, just to give you an update. I've got a meeting with the land agent next week and possibly the ranger, so we've come in today to make some notes. And a bit later on I'll show you some of the online stuff that Simon's showed me to look at, help managing stuff. But we're just in here making some notes and some things to bring up when I meet the land agent next. So what are we thinking, Si?
Just identify what you've got and what your aims are, and put a basic plan in place as to how we're going to achieve those aims. It's as simple as that, really.
Yeah, because this is primarily the oak bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we were thinking about doing a pathway into here and having this as the entrance, and then clearing some of this area and then having a pathway go along that way up to the next area. And I think basically all they're going to be thinking about is responsible management, I guess, and make sure I'm not some kind of mad axe murderer or something.
And then you've got some grown coppice up at the top, so you could recoppice some of that.
Yeah. So I don't know what sort of thing they want me to go through, but I think if I make an effort to look, I've thought about planning it out and what we're going to be doing, I think they'll be pretty pleased with that. We were thinking about having possibly a path up that way, but I think if we make a path up that way to the second bit, away from the public footpath, which is just behind me, that's all open land and it goes out to another very large wood on the other side. Do you think it's worth opening up that side a little bit to encourage some wildlife into here or not?
No, I'd leave that as a boundary, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll go in the other side, we'll have a look there, and have a look at some of the ways we can kind of create a little bit of a path into here, and how, because we were talking about how we'd keep this in a fairly good condition, weren't we, Si? Whether we just keep it trampled down or clear it or put some bark down or whatever we do with that. So that's things to consider at a later date. So we'll go up into the other end of the woodland and see where we're going to be doing the pathway from and have a think about that.
We've got a couple of oaks over here, but all these trees here are all ash trees.
All ash?
Yeah. So this is slightly different. So I'd mark this as a separate compartment. And also you have these others in here, and this is much more open, isn't it?
Yeah. This is quite open here. So from here, I think because we've got that dip there, haven't we, with the dead willow in it?
Yeah.
And then the way in there is to go down there through that gap there.
Okay.
So we'll have a look down there.
Has that dip been dug out?
What, these dips? Simon was just saying he's wondering whether some of these dips are man-made because maybe they used it for something. Who knows? Now this seems like a natural walkway to me, Si, to come into this area now, isn't it, from there? Because this is quite a nice area, this bit.
Yeah.
Looks like there's some steps there, look. The other side, see?
Yeah.
Some old steps, stone steps. This looks like it used to be a working area of some sort, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what's that, Si?
That's ash.
Oh, okay. Is it normal for these live branches to sprout out of a tree like this, Si?
Yeah, it's totally normal. We're allowed to do that.
That's incredible.
Yeah. If it was flat on the ground,
Yeah.
they can start to root and become individual trees themselves.
Oh, wow.
mad, isn't it? Into new trees.
That's quite a nice feature because they'll continue to grow, will they?
For a while, yeah. The root systems were.
Simon's just pointed out that this is a really tall apple tree, and like the oaks, they've grown tall until they get to the canopy because there's not much light around the sides. I was wondering where all these apples are coming from. Come across this hawthorn here.
It's huge.
It is huge. And see how the branches are twisted. So we're right close to the boundary edge here, the opposite side. You can see the woodland the other side of there. We've come down here, which will make a natural path. There's kind of a natural path coming through here. And we're thinking of either making the path go that way into the area which we thought we'd clear, or through this way, which I think I mentioned last time. So I've got my notebook here. I'm going to make some sketches, come up with some ideas, and then I'll show you some of the online stuff which I've been using.
Young trees in there, and then have sort of a different age class here, and then more mature trees up there or something like that. I don't think the woodland's quite big enough to do that sort of thing with, but
yeah, because
it does need a little bit of thought.
Yeah, someone just saying all the trees are of a similar age, so they're all kind of at the same maturity. That's something to think about for the future. So here we are back in HQ, in the office upstairs. The clips you just saw obviously was when my brother and I were going round the forest. He was giving me some advice and that to mention to the guys when I was to meet them face to face. And I actually met the land manager yesterday, and I also met one of their forestry guys yesterday to talk about what I had planned for that for the area, and they were quite happy when I said I wanted just to use it for practicing outdoor skills and bushcraft skills. However, one thing that they did stipulate, which I'm not surprised about, is no fires, which isn't. I was a little bit disappointed. Obviously, it's a skill that I utilise for various things, but I wasn't that surprised. And I don't use a fire a lot when I go out. To be honest, to me it's a tool which I use when I need to use it. I'm not one of these people that just has a fire for the sake of it. I tend to use stoves quite a lot as well. So that's not a deal breaker. I can do that at the other permission woodland that we've got. So we'll have to see how that goes. Anyway, the meeting went well. A couple of nice guys, and they were happy with me to go ahead, and hopefully they'll be sending the lease out soon. One thing I did want to ask them about was public liability. So, for example, if a branch falls off the tree and it's a member of the public, they are covered. I don't have to take out insurance for that, which is quite good news. So I wanted to show you a couple of things which I've utilised to try and help me think about planning this woodland, which my brother helped me find. So one of them is this My Forest, which I've got the free. Well, it doesn't cost me anything. So just let me log in. So there you go. This is what it looks like when you actually log in. You can see here you can find your area of woodland, and it allows you to mark the area out, and automatically it gives you the area that it covers. And there's lots of tools all down this side which I need to learn how to use, where you can add stuff. So you can add areas, and you can do all your mapping and planning on here. To give you a rough idea of the size of the woodland, there is a car here. I think it's a small van. So there's the woodland here. There's a public footpath which goes to the right. So that's that. So that's been very useful. Another thing which my brother recommended is getting a management plan, and you can download these from the government website. If you just put Forestry Commission Woodland Management Plan, it comes like this. It's just a template, and it gives you an idea of what you should be putting in these boxes. It gives you an area, whatever it is, where the woodland is, and then it's just like, objectives, things you want to do, things you've achieved, It might be things like plant health, any notable wildlife and all that sort of stuff. You don't have to put a lot of information on there. Obviously, I'm not doing any major management really. There's no felling or anything like that, but it just gives you an idea of things maybe you want to achieve, gives you some objectives. So that's been quite useful. Another thing I did as part of the journal I normally keep anyway, I started making notes about it. So there's a map here, some areas where there's predominantly ash, hawthorn, birch, oak and some willow, where there's the field, where the path is, just to give me a rough idea of what I'm talking about. And also I made some notes about the apps I've just showed you, and also some questions to ask yesterday. I spoke about bird boxes and bat boxes and stuff like that, and areas which I wanted to clear, which they're quite happy about. I've also made a list of the pros and cons about whether it's worth it. It's not going to cost me a lot of money. It's quite cheap actually, so it's not an expensive thing. I think they're just doing it as a nominal kind of fee because otherwise the woodland just wouldn't be used anyway. It's not in their plan to be used long term, I don't think. Some of the pros I've got is access anytime. What else have I got? Able to use my cutting tools in there. Obviously there's no liability to me. It's fairly close to home. It's a good size. There is also normally access via a footpath and a bridle path, but I will be given a key in order to get vehicle access into there as well, which is good in case I wanted to take tools or take things in or take things out. And it's really good for local walks from there as well, so you can do some good walks from there. The only real cons I could think of is the fact that I mentioned no fires. That's the only thing I can't really do. It's quite near a public footpath, but that's not really an issue. It doesn't get used that much. So that's where we are at the moment. They said, as I said, it would take about a week to send the lease through once I found out a little bit more information. And if I find anything between now and then, I'll get back to you and let you know. But hopefully next time I do some filming, we will be out and about and actually doing some stuff out and about. And I've also bought a camper van as well, which I will show you one of the days soon. Needs a bit of a clean at the moment. It's a bit muddy at the moment, but so exciting things onwards and upwards. I'll catch up with you soon, update you on the woodland, and you take care everybody. Bye.